Welcome. I'm Jenna Outerbridge, a teaching artist with the Van Wezel in Sarasota, Florida. I'm joined by my friend, hip-hop dancer and choreographer, Christopher Powell. Today, we'll be guiding you through some fundamental hip-hop dance movement. Hip-hop dance is rooted in self-expression, creativity, and community. As you move along with us, feel free to bring your own personality and style to the movement. Have fun, be you. Now let's get down.
Yo, what's up guys? My name is Christopher Powell, and today I'm going to be teaching you some hip hop steps. First I want to tell you a little bit of background about where these steps come from. So hip hop was birthed in the early 80s in New York City. Some of the first concepts when it first came out was something called a bounce, a rock, and then a groove. So these are the three concepts that people were working with mostly when it first started out. So the steps I'm going to teach you today are mostly rooted in the idea of bouncing. So there will be some grooves, there will be a little bit of a rock, but you always want to keep that idea of bouncing up and down while you're doing these steps. So I want to go over them really slowly, one at a time. I'll tell you the name of them as I go over them as well. Here we go. You start, the first one is called the monastery. This is a groove that includes your feet, your hips, and your arms. So what your feet are doing is they're just going in and in and in and in. Yep, just a little step, touch, step, nice. Yep. And then after that, you're gonna add the hips. What your hips are doing is they're making a nice little C shape like this. So if I point it up, it will look like that, but your hips are doing that. So imagine your hips are drawing on the ground. So on each side, you're gonna bring your hips around, stop, around, stop, around, stop, around, stop. So when you add that to the feet, each time you step, you're going around, stop, around, stop, around, stop, around, stop. You wanna get fancy, you can do a double. Yep, so the arms are just gonna follow what your body is doing. So your hands are actually, or your arms are actually gonna make a C shape as well with each side. So you can use your fists if you want to, you can open your hands. So yeah, that is called the monastery. The next one that we're gonna learn is a basic two-step. So again, our feet are just doing this. So if you were in a party, you heard some music, your best friend birthday party, everybody jamming, this is a nice good one you can use, just catch the beat. So all we're gonna do is add a little bit of head movement. So you wanna imagine like you have like two big pipes next to you. So you can't move your over to the side because you'll hit your head. So the only way to go over to the side is to go underneath that pipe. So you're gonna go down, touch, yep, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. That's called a two-step. So that is based on something called the step grid. So when hip hop dancers dance, they use a basic idea of like there's imaginary squares all around like a checkerboard. So there's one square in front of me, there's one square to my diagonals, there's one square to the sides, back diagonals, and then the one directly back. So when we're doing this step, we're only using our side squares with each step. But you want to make sure you're moving those feet. Yes. So the next one that we're doing is called the Cabbage Patch. It's actually named after a baby doll. You guys are probably much too young to know what a Cabbage Patch doll is. They used to have this really cool commercial, and they were really popular. So the movement actually has nothing to do with the actual Cabbage Patch doll. It's just named after it because hip hop movements are often named after trendy things at the time that they're created. So when this dance movement was created in the 80s, Cabbage Patch dolls were a big thing. They were all over TV. Everybody had a Cabbage Patch doll. So that's kind of where it comes from. So this movement is very similar to what we just did, except for now we're facing the angle of where we're traveling to. So you're going front, back, front, and side. Front, back, front, and side. Rock, rock, step, step, step. Rock, rock, step, step, step. So when we add the arms, they're just moving with us. Rock, rock, step, step, step. Rock, rock, step, step, step. Rock, rock, step, step, step. Cool thing about this movement, you can add all kinds of things. We can add like a hop with our feet. You can go 1, 2, hop, hop, hop. 1, 2, hop, hop, hop. I can add different arms I want to. I can brush my head like, ooh, wee, hey, hey, ooh, ooh, ooh. Brush my shoulders off. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. That is the Cabbage Patch. Next, last, we have something called the Reebok. The Reebok is named after a pair of shoes. So, you've never heard of Reeboks before. They're like Nikes or Air Jordans or any of those sneakers for basketball. So, this was a very popular shoe in the 80s as well, so they named this movement after the shoes. So, it is a foot movement mostly, so your feet are going to stay together, and all you're doing is going hop, 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 hop. So, you're going 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. And 1, 2, 2. So what makes this movement kind of cool is when you add your hips. So each time you move to the side, your hips are moving with you. Hips, 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 and hips, 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 and hips, hips, and hips, hips, and your arms are just moving with your body. Hip, hip, and hop, hop. So yes, that is the Reebok. And those are the 4 movements we're going to use.
You can be an artist, athlete, all-star, anything, you can be different. Don't matter if you're a girl or a boy or an alien, anything, you can be different. It's okay to be different. I like me cause I'm different. Everything I do is different. I like me cause I'm different. You are not the same as me, and I am not the same as you. We like doing things different. We can still be friends too. You are not the same as me, and I am not the same as you. We like doing things different. We can still be friends too. Different people, some are tall, some are short, some like music, some like sports, some talk wrestling, some talk math. I like animals and I like art, I like things and I like arts, I like rap and I like guitars, and I like fights and I don't like cars. But there's some things you not like me, and you like doing different things. I like you, and you're doing too, lots of different things to do. So if you meet somebody different, respect the way they are, respect each other's differences, and you can be a star. It's okay to be different. I like me cause I'm different. Everything I do is different. I like me cause I'm different. You are not the same as me. I am not the same as you. We like doing different things. We can still be friends too. It's okay to be different. I like me cause I'm different. Everything I do is different. I like me cause I'm different. You are not the same as me. I am not the same as you. We like doing things different. We can still be friends too. You can have black skin, white skin, brown skin, anything, you can be different. You can have red hair, green hair, anything, you can be different. You can be an artist, athlete, all-star, anything, you can be different. Don't matter if you're a girl or a boy or anything, you can be different. You can have black skin, white skin, brown skin, anything, you can be different. You can have red hair, green hair, anything, you can be different. You can be an artist, athlete, all-star, anything, you can be different. Don't matter if you're a girl or a boy or an alien, anything, you can be different.